And so, part of what we look at in developing this program is how can we prepare people for these new relationships and to deal with these new technologies. Part of the thinking in doing the program is that we recognize that there were certain gaps that might need to be filled. Obviously, certain issues in terms of competencies, but also sometimes in terms of values. Sometimes you have a feeling that something can happen that can make the culture of journalistic practice in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean much more enriching. We are also looking at it in the sense that we know that for you, we are falling upon, as the Chinese say, interesting times, economically and otherwise. And so that your workers have to be prepared to start responding right away. Bottom line, this certificate in journalism is intended to ensure that when a student emerges from it, that person can get on the ground immediately and be more than just a warm body in your institutions, can be somebody who has something to contribute. We have the program designed in a way as well that people who are practicing journalists will also find something here to offer. In that, we are preparing people, part of the program prepares people to use the new technologies and to see the way that they come together and to see how journalism is affected by the way they come together. Okay? So having said that, let me just go on to what the program will offer. That provides a context for what I'm about to tell you. This program is 1 year long. It's going to be very intensive. The people who sign on for it, perhaps some of you, will have to work really hard. Okay? It is because there's a lot that needs to be put in there. When we set up the program, it is structured to get different things. We have courses that are intended to let young journalists and more experienced journalists understand the context of practice. And part of that is the social and cultural context. Part of that is the historical context. Our feeling, the program's belief is that if you do not understand the context, you cannot respond appropriately. And that part of journalistic practice often requires that journalists respond appropriately at the moment. Sometimes decisions have to be made. We are part of this program, we'll prepare for that. Part of that context will involve the ethical and cultural and legal elements. I know we have all seen, we your publics, and you, journalists who have had wonderful intentions and fall afoul of the law. Journalists who have had wonderful intentions and perhaps overstep the mark, and then you have an outcry from your readership. At this point, you will realize that it is important to have that sensitivity to the legal and ethical elements. That is also part of what we prepare when I say context.